The Video Gear Command Center.
Check it out.
What is it?
10% plastic, 9% attitude.
That's why you started gaming in the first place.
No distractions, just you and the game.
So it was halfway through last month and I realized I hadn't played any games yet. And now since I do these monthly recap videos where I go over what I played, that was quite a problem to have. So I decided to play a bunch of short games in order to make up for the time lost. The goal with these videos, as always, is to talk about what I played, so hopefully you might discover something you might have otherwise missed. Since not everyone has time to play stuff like long RPGs or life-devouring life service games, I thought this could be a useful resource to help people out who want to play something while not committing to something that would take too long. In the back half of April, I played 12 different games. However, I'll save us both some time by quickly blasting through the half that I wasn't exactly super hot on. How Fish is Made had a striking look and a style, but that's about all it had. Sticker was a slightly interesting self-aware game about game development, but as I said, it was only slightly interesting. Super Dangerous Dungeons was a tedious platformer with a player character that felt too big for the levels. Subway Midnight had a fantastic aesthetic, but the gameplay really fell short. Mothman 1966 also had great art style and captivating atmosphere, but it just wasn't enough to make me into a visual novel person. And lastly, Lunistis had a squirrely control scheme, and it was more of a 3D Sonic game than the 3D platformer I was expecting. With those out of the way, now I can get into the real gems that I played. Perfect Vermin is a great game that has plenty of viscera. It's a free single-player first-person sledgehammer game that has you searching for out-of-place objects in office environments, and then destroying them in rather Cronenbergian fashion. The destruction physics are great, and the way everything falls apart is pretty satisfying, and it can be completed within a 30-minute time frame. Though this game may appear a bit over the top, the reveal of what's actually going on here is unexpectedly meaningful. It's definitely fun, and it's deeper than what you may think at first glance. I highly recommend giving this one a try. Vomitoreum is a grimy FPS Metroidvania made in GZ Doom that feels like Metroid Prime for the goth kids. The story was a bit hard to follow, but the atmosphere was great. Exploring the giant map with multiple paths that require different abilities was incredibly rewarding and fun because there's a bunch of optional collectibles and items to find. I thought it was especially useful in relieving that the enemies that I killed during my exploration stayed dead for the rest of the game, allowing for an easier backtracking experience. I also really liked the Estus Flask-like healing system and the dash mechanic. The art in the game is inspired by the paintings of Zdzisław Beksiński, and I think it looks really great, although the cutscenes where the art is isolated from the rest of the game can be a bit silly in the DeviantArt sort of way. But even that in itself I found to be charming in its own way. I highly recommend Vomitoreum. It's a great game for fans of boomer shooters, gothic darkness, and Metroid Prime. Any minor quibbles I had with it weren't enough to detract from the overall experience. Vomitoreum is an enjoyable, unique indie game that shouldn't be missed. Below the Ocean is an awesome 2D precision platformer that I was able to complete in an hour. The controls were incredibly smooth and the overall game feel was awesome. In particular, I was enamored with the oxygen tether swinging mechanic after I got a hang of it. As a deep sea diver, your goal is to hunt down underwater treasures. There are 4 separate chapters to play through and 4 different treasures. Unfortunately, once I completed all 4 chapters, there wasn't much of a tangible reward or fanfare. Though I'm assuming that if you collect all of the diamonds, which function like Celeste optional and difficult to collect strawberries, you'll get something special. Though, admittedly that's something I didn't do, so I sure hope there's something. In addition to the gameplay and besides the structure, the sprite art and music are really great. I recommend it. Gravitas is a free PC game that's a Portal clone with gravity-centric puzzles. You're guided through each art piece, which is their way of framing the Portal-style test chambers, by a floating robot that's very similar to Wheatley from Portal 2. Although it doesn't provide much of a challenge, the game is nicely polished and I found it to be enjoyable enough. It's like the Dr. Thunder version of Portal. Portal itself even has very similar gravity tunnel-style mechanics, which makes this even more struggle-worthy. But for what it is, it's a nice snack, and I'd recommend it if you want a free, inoffensive way to get a Portal-like fix. I had an amazing time playing Franken. It's a hilarious parody of an RPG where you play as a generic prophesized hero tasked with going up against a generic world-threatening evil. The gameplay is pretty simple and linear, but that's not why you play it. It's all about the jokes, and they're really great. It takes a lot for a comedy to get me laughing, and this one really fucking had me rolling. All of the sprites and art here also have a range of distinct styles that are awesome, and the soundtrack is composed of music that perfectly evokes the intended feelings and strange 70s vibes, even if most of it is bootleg tracks from other sources. But I'm not telling anybody, except for right now, when I am. But don't tell it. Don't. Just play the game. I highly recommend it, and it's honestly one of the best hours of entertainment I've had in a while. I'd love to see more games like Franken. I know Donkey loves this game, and he and his wife just started a game publisher, so here's hoping Big Mode will be working with the developer of this sometime in the future. I had a great time with Sludge Life. It made 2 hours just kind of melt away. It's a first-person graffiti adventure game with a unique art style and a mellow, chilled-out vibe. The game is completely open world, and you can explore wherever you want with objectives that are very loosely defined. You'll be trying to figure out how to reach graffiti spots and searching for collectibles and secrets all over the city. I'm a huge sucker for gliding in games, and the gliding mechanic that you unlock is super satisfying. And also the music just fits perfectly with the rest of the game. If you're into chill vibes and stylish visuals, I highly recommend this one. I was lucky enough to grab this one for free when they were giving it away for the celebration of the announcement of the sequel that's coming out this year. But now that I've played it, I would have happily paid for it. And I'm really looking forward to playing Sludge Life 2. I guess that free giveaway kinda worked out, because I'll be there day one. I hope these recommendations have piqued your interest, and I hope that you'll check out at least one of them. If you do, let me know in the comments what you think, and I'd also like to thank everyone who watched my Resident Evil 4 spiritual successor video. It performed far better than I expected, and I'm so thankful. That response was super positive and reassuring. Though this video won't do even close to as good as that one, so I'd extra appreciate if you left a like on this one. And if you're somebody who's always on the lookout for more great games that you may have missed, don't forget to subscribe. My next monthly Games I Played video is going to feature my thoughts on Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and probably Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, if I can play enough of it to get my thoughts down. Plus, I hope I'll be able to squeeze at least one other thing in during May. But I'll be back with another video in between this one and that one, so thanks for watching!